should you eat white rice? I mean, that's a big debate, right? Like, you gotta eat brown rice or white rice, or which one should you eat? You know, if you want to put on muscle, you gotta eat chicken, broccoli, and brown rice 5 times a day, right? That's what we all hear. But how many of these things are actually true? We're diving into all that in today's episode. So get ready for episode 136. Let's go.
I've always been that skinny guy.
Why can't I gain muscle mass?
What do I do in the gym?
They said I'd always be skinny.
This is your complete source for how to gain lean muscle and break out of your skinny body. From nutrition to getting the most out of your workouts and everything in between. We know just how frustrating gaining muscle mass can be, but don't worry, we've got you covered. You're listening to the Bones to Bulk podcast. Hey, welcome to today's episode. My name is Bryan Parody. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this is your first time, then welcome. I'm glad you're here. And for my return guests, thank you so much for coming back. I know there are so many choices out there, and it really is an honor to have you listening to this. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Now, I have some exciting news, so I now have a new way to stay in touch with you, and it is via text. All you have to do is text podcast to 706-222-7551. That's right, it's that simple. You'll get a couple automated messages in the setup process, but the rest of it is actually me communicating with you. It's not a machine, it's not a robot, nothing like that. And so it's just super exciting because I love connecting with you, and it's such a great way to stay connected. So once again, text podcast to 706-222-7551. All right, with that being said, let's dive in. So we've all heard the stories of if you want to put on muscle and get healthy, you've got to eat broccoli and chicken and brown rice 5 times a day, right? Well, let's debunk this a little bit. All the time, it's just assumed that you have to eat brown rice. And I used to be the same way. I used to eat brown rice. I used to make myself force that crap down my throat because let's face it, brown rice does not taste good. Like, maybe if you're one of the rare people out there who love the taste of just brown rice, that's awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. If you're like me and can't stand the taste of brown rice, just go back to white rice. Like, for real. So, there are a couple different white rices. There's enriched and unenriched. And basically, white rice doesn't have a lot of antioxidants or vitamins or anything like that in it. It's pretty much just carbohydrates, okay? With brown rice, it has vitamins, it has antioxidants. So is brown rice a little bit healthier? Sure. There's no denying that. But is it enough to warrant forcing yourself to eat something you hate every day? I don't think it is. And that's my opinion. Yes, I've read a lot of stuff on there. I mean, shoot, if you Google is white rice healthy, you'll get a million articles and every other one will say something completely different. This study shows that white rice is fine. This study shows that white rice will kill you. It's ridiculous, okay? There's so many varying degrees of everything in all these studies that you can't even go off studies hardly. So here's the thing. Rice is a natural food. It grows in the ground. It's not processed. It's rice. Personally, I think we go a little overboard with some of the things we get into. Nothing against anybody who does the whole organic and I'm going to micro everything. If that's you and you enjoy that, by all means do it. Personally, I'm cheap and I'm a little skeptical on some things. So for me, I don't buy into the whole everything's got to be organic. Everything has to be, perfect all the time. We've got to make smart decisions. We have to have an overall well balance of things, but we've got to let go of the small things. Another thing is don't eat regular potatoes, but eat sweet potatoes. I mean, really, is it that big of a difference if I have red potatoes or sweet potatoes? I mean, let's be real here. If my diet is on point for the most part, having some red potatoes instead of a sweet potato is not going to hurt anything. Having some white rice instead of brown rice is not going to hurt anything. It's not. I wouldn't sit down and eat a bowl of white rice by itself, because there's no other foods with it. My body is just absorbing all that carbohydrate at once. But I mean, realistically, I wouldn't sit down and just eat a carb regardless. There's always going to be other fats or proteins mixed in with it. And so you really don't have to worry that you're getting just too much carb overload. You've got to enjoy what you eat, because if you don't enjoy what you eat, you're not going to stick with it. That's just the facts of it. And I'm not saying that when you make the switch and start eating healthier that everything you're going to enjoy off the bat, because you're not. There's a hard transition point coming off of eating Little Debbie snacks and drinking Dr. Peppers and switching to hummus and carrots and drinking water. Like, there's a big difference, okay? I'm not going to pretend that, oh, yeah, I love this just as much as the Little Debbie snacks. Eventually, you get to love the healthy stuff. You really honestly do. I'm not just saying that. But it does take time. So I'm not saying that right off the bat, you're just going to love everything you eat that's healthy, because you're not. But you've got to find the things that you like that are healthy. And griping over like white rice or brown rice really isn't the most important thing you need to be looking out for. Are you drinking soda? Are you drinking water? Those are the like big, more detrimental questions you need to be asking yourself. I'll give you a really good real-time example of something that I can relate this to that just happened. So we have this little pool set up in the backyard for my kids, and they love playing out there in the sprinkler and whatnot. Well, this tiny little bug got in the pool. And my oldest daughter she doesn't like getting dirty, being dirty, anything like that. So the fact that there was a bug in the pool was like the end of the world. And I am like, dude, if you want to swim in the pool, grab one of your toys and just flick it out of the pool. So my point in that is, she was so focused on this bug that she couldn't enjoy the sprinkler or the pool or anything. It was like this little gnat ruined everything. And I think, sometimes focus on these minute things that really don't matter. We look at the white rice versus brown rice scenario while ignoring the fact that we're eating out 3 times a week. You know what I'm saying? In the big picture, that's the least thing we need to be worried about. Now, I'm not saying that once you get on a very advanced level and you're really starting to get down into the micromanaging of what you eat, like when your healthy, nutritious intake needs to be even more scrutinized. I'm not talking about once you're at that level. I'm talking about like a basic overall fitness level. You don't have to scrutinize as much as they make it out to be. There's so many things, and like, oh my gosh, you eat, organic as opposed to non-organic, or don't eat that potato, you only can eat sweet potatoes. And we get so caught up in these minute details that we miss the big things around us. We miss the much larger things that have an effect on our overall health. If I eat a half a cup of white rice every day or a half a cup of brown rice every day, guess what? I'm still going to hit my fitness goals if everything else is on track. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still a certain amount of calories, certain amount of carbohydrates. I'm not trying to beat this into a pulp. What I'm just saying is look past sometimes the small things. And ask yourself, is this worth it? Is it worth doing this small thing that really doesn't have a huge impact for me to not enjoy it? Or should I just do this option that I can sustain and keep after and actually enjoy? And I think you know which is the better option. Now, don't take this to the extreme and be like, well, I like Doritos better than veggies and hummus. Like, you know what I'm saying? They can get out of hand too. But be sensible about it and don't sweat the small stuff. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. You've got to measure things. You've got to keep track of what you're eating. You've got to make sure that for the most part you're eating good. Yes. But the micro details, we spend far too much time arguing about that stuff in the fitness world. Like, there's way more important things to focus on. So I hope this encourages you and helps you. If there's something you're struggling with that you've been told you've got to eat this in order to reach your goal, there's never one thing that you have to do. Like, if you don't do this one thing, you won't get healthy. Like, come on. There's a myriad of things that you must do, yes. But it never boils down to one thing. All right, with that being said, thank you so much for listening. And remember, no matter what walls you're coming up against, what barriers stand in your way, you can hit your goals. You've got this.